What was quote? Number 7. 7. Oh. Yeah. Make it easy.
I'll just check the olives.
What? Where did this light come from? It's like a car headlight. It was not here before. Is that yours? It's for you. I can see it. I look. It's like. Man, there's shadows back here now. Crispy.
Go ahead and start this meeting from September 7th, 2016, Oceanside City Council, Harbor District, and CDC. Roll call, please.
Mayor Wood.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Lowry.
Here.
Councilmember Feller.
Here.
Councilmember Curran. Councilmember Sanchez.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney.
Thank you. The council meeting closed session to discuss item 1 on the closed session agenda, conference with the labor negotiator involving the Oceanside Fire Management Association. Item 2, conference with real estate negotiator involving the portion of APN 143-12010, the Jolly Roger Restaurant. Negotiating parties are Oceanside Small Craft Harbor District and Aloha Partners. Under negotiations are price and terms for the lease of the real property. Item 3, conference with legal counsel on a pending litigation in the matter of Yvonne versus City of Oceanside.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll get started in a few minutes. We have broken up in two halves. The first half, mainly consent items. Later on, 6 o'clock, we have an extension from the council for more important items, a little longer. But thank you for being here. I look around the room. It looks like everybody from Rancho showed up. Thank you very much. School time. Could you all stand up? We'll get on camera. That way your teacher can see that you were here. Stand up for a minute. That's it. Thank you. Hi, Mom. Thank you. Back down.
That's the proof that you were here.
Anyhow, we'll go with the roll call first, please.
Yeah. Mayor Wood,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Lowry,
Here.
Councilmember Feller,
Here.
Councilmember Kern,
Okay.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Here.
Thank you very much. Consent calendar.
Yes, consent calendar, item number 7 has been removed from the agenda, and item number 26 has been pushed back to the next city council meeting. The remaining of the consent calendar, items 4 through 6 and 8 through 16.
Move approval.
Second. Thank you. Any speakers?
No public on this item?
Please, vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Item 17, please.
Yes, item number 17 is approval of the First Amendment to the Next Gen RCS agreement with the County of San Diego for the Next Generation Regional Communication System, approval of a purchase order in the amount of $3,296,874,000 from account 9151383000581 to cover the city's portion of the total infrastructure and core costs, approval of the Financial Services Director or designee to execute the purchase order, approval of budget appropriation in the amount of $950,000 from set-aside general fund reserves transferred to account 9151383000581 to cover additional RCS costs and authorization for the city manager or designee to execute the amendment.
Thank you. Hi, Chief. How you doing? Fine. Thank you.
Are you nervous? Are you nervous in front of our city manager?
No, sir.
Okay.
She's nervous.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, City Council, Pete Lawrence with the Fire Department, and I'm here tonight to talk with you about the funding for the 800 megahertz next generation system. The synopsis of what we're looking for is we've got an amendment to the next generation agreement that was signed by the council, authorized by the council back in March of 2014, when the council decided that we were going to continue with the regional communication system as our communications partner. This is the first amendment. It identifies the cost for infrastructure costs and for mountaintop repeaters, et cetera, core items. This is a shared percentage-based cost of roughly $3 million. And then we're also taking some additional funding that has already been identified and set aside. It's been budgeted, and moving it into a dedicated CIP account. Again, the City Council voted in 2014 to join the RCS Next Gen program. I was assigned in late 2013 by then City Manager Peter Weiss to be the citywide coordinator for the effort to get the council to adopt the Next Gen program, and if so, to manage the implementation of it. And that project will continue through 2018 into 2019. The current radio system that we work on is 20 years old. It has reached its shelf life, its end of life, and we are going to replace it in late 2018 with this Next Gen system with new technology. All of the cities in the county are members of the Next Gen program. Nobody bailed out. City of San Diego has their own system, and so they are in a interoperable radio system. We can communicate with them, but they're not part of RCS. But all cities have a system capable of communicating amongst all the first responders. And it is what we use in fire and law enforcement as a interoperable common communications platform for day-to-day and for large-scale emergencies. To participate in the Next Gen RCS, there were 4 items that we needed to do, and these were all brought forth part of the original package in March of 2014. We have to pay a proportional share of the new backbone, and that's that $3.3 million that we're discussing tonight. We need to upgrade the consoles in OPD and at Northcom for the Fire Dispatch Center. We need to upgrade the microwave link between OPD and the RCS, and we need to replace and/or upgrade a small percentage or upgradable our current field radio equipment, the radios carried by police, fire in both the apparatus and on the person. The original estimate to join the Next Gen program was $8.4 million. Good news is that $200,000 in grants, roughly, have been applied that have already taken care of the microwave link. We took care of that last year. You voted to accept that grant, and we've already done that work. We've also started the purchase of radios using grant funds. We are pursuing a $500,000 grant on behalf of the city. It's a countywide grant that is going to fund the dispatch consoles, and we're relatively confident that that will come through, but we have to include it as a cost until it's actually assigned. And the other good news is the infrastructure cost portion has come down from an original estimate of 4.7 million. It's decreased 1.4 to that current $3.3 million figure. So the total cost for the city to transition over to the Next Gen program is currently estimated at $6.85 million, which is roughly $1.5 million less than originally I came forward to you in 2014. This is due to a series of issues. The first is, and they're all good, more people joined the RCS, the Next Gen, than they originally anticipated. A lot of school districts came on board, CHP, Caltrans, the university systems. So the number of users allowed the cost to go down on a per radio per capita basis. We're going to still need the $3.3 million to pay for the county for the infrastructure. We also need $500,000 again to upgrade the dispatch consoles, and it's still roughly a little over $3 million to replace all of our field equipment. Good news is also 82.5% of the funds have already been identified by the city. Of the $5.65 million, we have of the $6.85, we have 4.7 in a CIP fund, and we have another $500,000 in a general fund assigned RCS reserve and $450,000 in an infrastructure reserve. Those are already identified and assigned per council action. The $3.3 million in the infrastructure and core costs is going to come out of that CIP account, and we're going to take that $950,000 that's currently in the general fund accounts and move them to that dedicated CIP account to consolidate where the funds are identified. So we are not searching through, we're able to track it in one specific fund. The options to fund the remaining $1.2 million that we need, and again, that includes the $500,000 upgrade for the dispatch consoles that I'm thinking we're going to get on a grant, is that the Treasurer's Office can look for private financing. The unassigned general fund reserves could be utilized, or we could borrow the funds from an existing reserve account and then pay it back, basically taking a loan out against the funds and paying it back to ourselves, versus going for private financing, which is running roughly 4% these days. All these options are going to be discussed and brought back to the council, either as a separate item, as we identify it, or as part of the budget for fiscal year 17-18. So again, in conclusion, our recommendation and what we're asking for tonight is to approve the First Amendment to the Next Gen RCS agreement with the County of San Diego for the Next Generation Regional Communication System, approve a purchase order in the amount of $3.296,873.55 million from account 915-138-300-581 to cover the city's portion of the total infrastructure and core costs, approve a $950,000 budget appropriation from already set aside general fund reserves, a transfer to, again, 9151-383-000-581. And that's going to cover additional RCS-related costs such as radios and the consoles, and then authorize the city manager or designee to execute the amendment. So with that, I'll be available for any questions
Thank you, Pete. Have a seat at the sidebar. Thank you. Appreciate the update. Public?
No public.
Back to the council. Okay, Esther, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to go ahead and move approval of staff's recommendation. Obviously, seamless communication with other agencies is absolutely critical to the safety of life. And I think that the department's already waited a long time to be near the last to convert. And it looked like the city of San Diego is sticking with theirs because it's compatible. Is that right?
Councilmember Sanchez, members of council, yes, it is compatible. They are going to remain on their own system, but they have ensured that there will be interoperability between NextGen and their existing and their future system.
So I think that we pride ourselves in achieving many goals that we laid for ourselves, a faster emergency response time. You know, we've done things to lower the crime rate and in response to emergency calls. So this is absolutely critical. So move approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kern, we have a second. Mr. Kern, please.
Thank you. I just had a couple quick questions. I noticed that we're going to replace radios over time, and so we're going to have old radios and new radios, and they're all compatible with the next-gen system because we're building the backbone first. The operations of these radios are not going to be affected.
Councilmember Kern, Honorable Mayor, members of council, no, we are ensuring that any radios that are purchased now prior to the next gen are compatible both backwards and forwards. We do have radios that one of the reasons I need to start the expenditure of funds now is for the radio equipment is that we have radios that are at end of life and they cannot move forward, and we're spending a lot of money keeping them running. So we are ensuring, though, that everything is both backwards and forwards compatible and that there will be no hiccups. And Jeff Hart from Fleet has been excellent in ensuring the police vehicles back several years we're going to be prepared for the next gen system to reduce our costs. So that's been our goal, to have a seamless transition.
Okay, and the timeline for these applications, the idea that the backbone will take how long?
The backbone will be completed in 2018, most likely fourth quarter 2018 calendar year, and they will switch over, and at that point all the radios must be P25 or Project 25 capable. I'm already in the process and going to start with police and fire this year, fiscal year, and next fiscal year will be the big push citywide to get all the radios purchased and ready to go.
And then the last question is that 17.5% funding gap. That hasn't been decided how we're going to close that gap, whether we borrow internally or dedicate funds for it. Or, that's probably a city manager question more than.
Thank you, Councilmember Kern, Honorable Mayor, Council members. We actually have identified the money as a placeholder for next budget year, so it's on our priority list already.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Jack Feller, please.
Thank you. In your presentation, you said, I thought I heard you say a small amount of the radios needed to be replaced, and the slide said nearly all. So,
Councilmember Feller, Honorable Mayor, members of council, my apologies. A small number are able to be upgraded. The rest are going to have to be replaced.
okay.
We have radios that were purchased towards the end of their availability, and they can be software flashed for an upgrade, but the vast majority, about 95% of our radios, have to be outright replaced.
And the other thing I am not really clear on, you said you have all you need to start essentially, but if we find the funding or need to get the radios sooner, you're going to come to us? Otherwise, it's going to be in the budget for 17-18?
We have the core infrastructure cost, which we need to cut the check now by the end of the month for $3.3 million. That is available right now, as well as the money for the consoles and to begin the purchase of radios. To finish the purchase of radios, we would need an additional $1.2 million currently, and I expect that number to decrease. That's the money that we are short, is the money to finish the replacement of the radios in the fiscal year 17-18 budget timeframe.
So when do you need the money?
Fiscal year 17-18
Okay.
is when we would be needing the money, and we'd be coming back to you before then or as part of the budget cycle.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please vote.
Oh, no, it displayed something else, so you can start. You can start voting.
Might want to clear and let us push.
Yeah, it's clear.
Push the button this time.
There you go.
Okay.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you.
You're reading our mind, Zach.
There you go.
Thank you, Chief. And Chief, thank you. If you may, and get a moment, let's move on to item 23 for the city attorney, please.
Thank you. The City Council met in closed session to discuss item 1, conference with labor negotiator on the status of negotiations involving the Oceanside Fire Management Association. There is no action under the Brown Act to report on that item. Item 2, conference with real property negotiator on the property, a portion of APN 143-12010, the Jolly Roger restaurant parcel. Negotiating parties are the Oceanside Small Craft Harbor District and Aloha Partners. Under negotiations are price and terms for the lease of the property. Again, there's no action to report on that item at this time. Item 3, conference with legal counsel on a status of existing litigation in the matter of Yvonne versus City of Oceanside, case number 16 CV 1640. Again, that was discussed. There's no action to report under the Brown Act.
Thank you. While you're on the topic, 29 is for you also.
Item 29 is the adoption of an ordinance of the City of Oceanside amending Chapter 29A of the Oceanside City Code to regulate human-powered watercraft in the channel and harbor entrance.
Thank you. Public?
No public on the side.
Thank you, council. Ms.
Move
Sanchez?
adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you very much. We'll go to item number 28, please.
Yes, item number 28 is request by Mayor Wood to make appointments to or motions for removal from some or all of the city's advisory groups.
Thank you very much. I put out the bulletin regarding adding or deletions for the commissions and committees, and each one of you have a copy of it. I'm making a motion that they be accepted as is, and public and or back to the council.
No public.
Back to the council, anybody? Look at it, you know what it is, and you had a week to look at it. Do I have a second on these items?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Sanchez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Harbor and Beaches Advisory Committee, there are a lot of folks that support Mr. Les George as a committee member. We had several people come in, and it was a room full of folks who came in to speak, and then just a room full of folks who were supporting him. And I'm not going to be able to support your motion on that. I do think that they did look far and wide for someone who the boating community and the harbor community felt that they could have as a representative and kind of help resolve the issues that they have at the harbor. The committee, I think, does a lot to make sure to kind of resolve those issues so that it doesn't have to be brought to the council's attention. So on that, and then also with respect to Utilities Commission, I know Mr. Jimmy Knott feels very, very strongly about staying on the Utilities Commission, and truthfully, I know that a lot of people listen to him and believe that he does a really thorough research on the issues. And again, I think it's something that but for people like Mr. Knott, serving on these citizens committees and commissions, we'd probably get a lot more of that work here at the dais. So I'm going to be not supporting those two proposals. Thank you.
Mr. Feller.
Thank you. I wanted to talk about the MHFPC. I haven't seen them convene a meeting in the last
Which one? I'm sorry.
manufactured home fair practices.
Keeps getting
They
canceled.
haven't performed a function. I mean, I guess we keep them on, but why are we?
It's required, I think.
I mean, it's
Required under, I don't know.
It is required under our city ordinance to have the commission, and they actually are required to meet annually, I know, in around April, to set the rents for all of the various parks that are subject to the ordinance.
So why are we going through the motions for the monthly meetings? Because this is
Oh, you mean
canceled every
because they
month.
keep getting canceled, the meetings? Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah. Why is
I
that
haven't-
being required to?
I'm the, I believe I'm the council liaison. I haven't inquired. I probably should have by now. I assumed it's because there's no real business that needs to be conducted.
Exactly, so once a year is plenty, so maybe we can research that a little bit, so.
Yeah, we can. We do have to respond to requests for special adjustments, and we don't know when those are going to be
Right.
applied for. Those actually have to go before the commission after they're analyzed by
There are certain time
staff.
requirements for that.
All right. And I, as well, Jimmy has been part of my career here, so I would support him staying on. So
There you are, Jimmy. I'm sorry, I was looking for you over here.
so that's all I have to say.
Mr. Kern, please.
Thank you. I'm going to support the change in the Utilities Commission. Jimmy, you've done a great job, outstanding job all these years. But looking at Mr. Cutler's resume, coming from the Wastewater Authority of Orange County, and all the work that we're going to be doing at San Luis Rey and La Salina over the next few years, he has a skill set that we really do need at that commission level. So it's nothing against you, Jimmy. It's just that we have somebody with a skill set that I think, for the good of the city, that we should bring on. So, I think that, sometimes change is good, sometimes it's not, but I think in this particular case, we have somebody that can actually contribute greatly to what we're going to be doing at that level. So, I just wanted to explain why I'm voting the way I did, because I know last time I voted differently, but this time I am going to go with the new person on the commission. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody that serves on these committees and commissions for doing a great job. Jimmy's been on one. I tried to look at it from a medical standpoint. You'd had some problems. That's what I was worried about. You might be fine, but anyhow, other than that, let's make a vote on this and go forward on all the items. If we have any difficult, we'll go to the individual items, but we might have a solution now. Please.
I just want the city clerk to note my two objections.
Yeah, and I have Mr. Feller's as well.
No votes for those. Please vote.
Ms. Sanchez, do you want to vote?
Right. I just wanted you to record my yes vote except for those two.
Correct, yes, I have it recorded as you're voting no for Mr. George and Mr. Knott's removal of their various
Right.
commissions, and same for Mr. Feller regarding Mr. Knott.
Right.
Yeah. If you could vote, sorry, you're...
I still have to do that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you very much. Item 18 through 22 next, please. Thank you.
Mayor Wood?
For those in the audience, this is a chance for us to explain to everybody out there what we've done for past or future items for each one of us. Mine is really two. On August 25th, I had a delegation here from Fuji, Japan, which is one of our sister cities. For 25 years, We've been to sister city with Fuji, Japan. Some of us on the council had visited Fuji, Japan, as did Harrison, thanking them. They all came out, the mayor and a whole bunch of people came out here. We had a special celebration at Hello Betty's and a sister cities party. We really enjoyed it. Everybody there was wonderful. And on September 1st, I visited MLK Middle School for a leadership sponsored type event. Answered a lot of questions out for very nice and very knowledgeable students. I go out to get these kids, and I get some of the hardest questions from kids on some of the things we do. So I really enjoyed it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Lowry.
Thank you, Clerk Beck. I was honored to deliver a proclamation for the mayor on the occasion of the 30-year retirement of the city's arborist. That was Delia Junkel. She has been the tree person for the city for so many years. Every time I went to an event that had anything to do with trees, she was there making sure they were planted correctly and people knew what they were doing when they were handling them. So she really has done a lot for the city, and I really want to acknowledge her for doing that. And also, I attended a regional water roundtable with Congressman Scott Peters last week. That was interesting, and it was brief, but he really didn't talk that much about water. So, but it was still a great place to see one of our electeds give us a nice overview of what it's like to work in the field that he works in. And that's it. Thank you.
Councilmember Feller.
Thank you. As well, I met with the sister city delegation. The mayor of Fuji was a former assembly member, they call him, for the city 15 years ago, or so. He was there in 2003 and 6 when I was there. So I went to Northern California for 2 days. My mother and father had their 69th wedding anniversary, and I think that's a miracle in this day and age. My hat's just off to, he's 90, almost 94, and she's 91, and they're really healthy, and you know, old age creeps up on us, and my hat's off to them. I can't imagine 69 years of marriage. And a lot of people can't imagine 2 or 3, but 69 years is a long time. You know, he's actually still working, so I guess maybe they could be around for a lot more. Went to the Labor Day swim around the pier. Lifeguards did a great job. It was the most smoothly run pier swim in the last 15 years that I've been going. And some of those kids can swim that far. It's about a mile, and they can swim that far in 15, 16 minutes.
What was your time?
My time, well, I didn't go around the pier. I just walked it took me about 22 minutes to get from the starting line to the finish line. And they had about double what they had last year. It was the best conditions they've had in many years. Just wanted to mention the GI forums this week, this Saturday. I'm sure they still have tickets available at the Veterans Association of North County, or see everybody's favorite Ida Acuna. There's a 9/11 remembrance 7/11 9/11 remembrance ceremony, and here at the Civic Center at Fire Station 1, 7:30 on the 11th. And there's concerts in the park, and they are at South Oceanside School this Saturday at 2 o'clock.
First
And they're
time?
going to make a heart in memory of Dave Neidigger, who's, he's kind of his swan song. He's on his way out and retiring, so. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Councilor Kern.
That'll be an honoring Dave. He's not gone. Won't be a memory of Dave. I just got to ask the deputy mayor one question. The arborist, did we give her a wooden plaque? Oh, okay.
Well, they actually couldn't have picked a better person to give him a plaque, somebody that likes trees as much as Chuck.
So, not too much to report. The only thing is I did have, I was out of town last week, had dinner last Wednesday night with the mayor and former mayor of Brawley, over in Brawley. So it was a nice evening. And the deputy mayor's looking at me as why did I was in Brawley. I'll explain to you later why I was in Brawley. Yeah, so it was the next day that was doing it. But that's about it. Thank you.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Thank you. Well, I do want to do a shout out to Deej Bell, class of 73. Every year he has a Labor Day party at his home, welcomes all class of 73, but in the last few years he's actually welcomed other classes, and so he had a tremendous get-together, reunion-type event this past Monday. And also shout out to Barbara Watso-Dionysopoulos. I think I said that correctly. But no, it's really great to see what OHS graduates have been doing all along, and that they're still here in Oceanside. There was also I did also attend the Sister City event, and then had to leave because we had a coffee with a cop at Eastside. And it was really nice because they had a brand new police unit. And I mean, the kids really, really loved it. I have to say, I think the kids outnumbered the adults at the coffee. They weren't drinking coffee, but they certainly enjoyed it. And that was at Valderrama Park. And there were some folks there from all over the city because, of course, this is advertised widely to come on down and talk to our police officers who are dedicated to this model called community policing. So the whole idea is that they get to know the neighborhoods and they get to know the residents so well that there are better community police relations. And it is with great sadness that we had this really good event, and we celebrated the advances that we've done in terms of our crime stats and in terms of responses to emergency calls. And this past Saturday, unfortunately, we did lose a 15-year-old who was shot in the park at Valderrama. And there are a lot of things that were going on at the time, but she was homeless, and she had been sleeping in the park for, I believe it was about 3 weeks. So I want to say that there are so many positive things that are happening in East Side, which is my home, where I grew up, and I remember all the really negative things, all the really high gang activity that happened. I remember, hitting the floor when I heard gunshots and growing up. And no kid should grow up with that kind of a lifestyle. And Annabelle is someone that is being mourned by our kids in Eastside, by our families in Eastside. It gives us more of, a desire to keep going forward, especially in Annabelle's name. I did ask the chief for some statistics because we did get some very angry calls that perhaps we're not doing enough in Eastside. And if you live there for as long as I have and as long as, other people have, or even, living there for a short period of time, you will have noticed that things have gotten better. There is an East Side Neighborhood Association who is committed to making things better for the kids in the park, for the kids in the neighborhood, for the families. So anyway, I did ask the chief specifically about East Side and also for the city. And specifically in East Side, I asked the chief to tell me in the last 10 years, and actually he went from 2005 to 2015, how did we do? Did crime go up as what some people thought has happened, or did it go down? And he indicated during that time period, violent crime in East Side is down by 49%. So you have to understand that in 2005, things were pretty bad. The total crime is down by 35%, just in East Side alone. In Oceanside, between 1985, because I asked him for a 30-year comparison rate, between 1985 and 2015, violent crime is down 33.9%. Total crime is down 39.2%. And I've been to some of the neighborhoods and gotten calls about the most, I think the most common call that we've been getting these days is about homeless people in neighborhoods at the beach, and cars being broke into, losing property. So what our police, community police officers have been saying is, well, this is a phenomenon that is happening throughout the region, throughout the state, throughout the country, and this isn't something that we're going to be able to fix overnight. But our city is doing a lot. Our city has adopted a model for being proactive, and that is the homeless outreach team that the police department, our Oceanside Police Department, has. So we have been able to take, in the last 2 years, 35 people off the streets into homes. And we've also had another 200 referrals, positive referrals. We've asked, the community police officers have been asking people to just remember to lock your cars when you leave your car, be it at night or during the day, and that you not have valuables easily seen through the window. So, back to East Side, we have a lot of dreams. Our kids have a lot of dreams, and we're there. What we want to do as a community is help them make that happen. Help them believe in themselves. And like a lot of you kids here, I'm sure you really feel like you're important, right? Because you are. And to not let anyone stop you from believing in your dreams. So that's what we want our kids to do. We're working very closely with the school district. The principal of Laurel School has made a goal of making Laurel School the best in the district. I'm sure other schools will say, no, we are. But what I'm saying is that together we will make things better, and that the kids, you kids, are the most important of this whole thing. So that's my report, Mr. Mayor. I just something that was all over the news, and that I needed to talk about. That while it seems like something horrendous happened, it did, but we are making things better in East Side and the rest of the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to tell you, we're going to take about a 15-minute break for the council. We'll start the second half of this meeting at 6 o'clock. Thank you. Adjourn for 15. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll start the second half of the council meeting. I'll let my aide explain a few things. If you have a phone or a pager, put it on silent. We appreciate that. Thank you. Debbie, please.
Please stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Tonight's invocation will be given by City Clerk Zach Beck.
Please join me in bowing our heads. Father, we come before you to say thank you. Thank you for the privilege, the blessing, the honor it is to reside here in the city of Oceanside. We come together tonight as a diverse community, a community of different backgrounds, different beliefs, different presents, and different futures, yet one common goal, and that is the betterment of this city. We come together tonight to seek your guidance, wisdom, and discernment during the deliberations that transpire this evening, and in doing so, we lift up Councilmember Feller, Councilmember Kern, Councilmember Sanchez, Deputy Mayor Lowry, and Mayor Wood. May you grant them peace and wisdom as they lead our city forward. We say all these things in your precious name. Amen.
The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by OPD Explorer Delilah Carrillo.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll thank this explorer in training to be a police officer in the future. I think it's great. Thank you very much for helping, too.
Next, we have the Pet of the Month. Well, L.K. Wills from the Humane Society, please come forward.
Hold on to the harness.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having us. This is Mezzo, and this is Sonata. They are 3-month-old little boys that were found as strays in Vista, but very, very sweet. I think they would love to go home together. Their adoption fee is just $125, single or together. So when you adopt one, you can adopt a buddy at no additional charge, and that goes for any time. If you adopted 6 months ago and you're interested in getting a buddy, you can also go back into the shelter and adopt another buddy for no additional fees. You know, it's great for them to have friends and to play with each other when you're not quite as, when you might get tired and not want to play anymore. So these little guys are available for adoption at our Airport Road location. We're open from 10 to 6 tomorrow. And they're really sweet, and they wanted me to get them out of their kennels and go out and play. So really sweet little guys. And just want to remind everybody that any time of the day between 10 and 5, we recommend you can get $15 microchips at either our Airport Road or San Luis Rey locations. So if your cat or your dog or your bunny is in the need of a microchip, please come on in, or you can join us at one of our vaccination clinics. Thank you.
I got my cat from Humane Society, adult cat. It's the greatest cat I ever had. So friendly and nice, and look at these twins. This would be good for somebody's group, maybe, you know. Anyhow, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay. And we have the red tabby is not available. But I just did it for safety reasons right now. But just in case they got a little, riled up, I wanted to make sure we had a way of catching them.
Last time we had kittens in there, ran up my back down, and we had to chase it around.
Okay, next we have a proclamation for Constitution Week. Would the following members of the Santa Margarita chapter of the Daughters of American Revolution please come forward when I call your name? Alida Woodward, Regent. Wanda Prosser, Chapter Corresponding Secretary. Linda Ramos, Outgoing Chapter Regent. And Diana Cook, Member. proclamation in honor of Constitution Week, September 17th through 23rd, 2016. Whereas September 17th, 2016 marks the 229th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week, now therefore be it resolved that I, Jim Wood, Mayor of the City of Oceanside, California, do hereby proclaim September 17th through 23rd, 2016 as Constitution Week, and urge our citizens to reaffirm the ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. Issued this 7th day of September, 2016.
I'm Elida Woodward, and on behalf of the Santa Margarita chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, I thank you for this proclamation, okay? This year, 2016, is the 60th anniversary of Constitution Week, designated annually from September the 17th to the 23rd, as you heard. NSDAR past President General Gertrude S. Caraway was responsible for this resolution adopted by the Society in April of 1955. With several proclamation steps through the Congress and President Eisenhower, the final resolution for Constitution Week was adopted on July the 23rd, 1956, and signed into public law on August the 2nd, 1956. Therefore, we Americans will be celebrating this year the 229th anniversary of the signing of the United States Constitution in 1787, the longest lasting national constitution in the world that guarantees most of the freedoms that we enjoy. The National Society will celebrate Bells Across America at 1 o'clock Pacific Time, proclaiming the final signing on September the 17th. We encourage all Americans to step outside and ring a joyous Thank you.
Okay, next we have a proclamation for National Hispanic Heritage Month. Would all those who are here for the Noche Mexicana event, please come forward.
Thank you. It's with great pleasure and honor that we're the Committee of Noche Mexicana, invite the Oceanside community to our event. This is going to be our 12th annual event here in Oceanside. It is the largest in North County, and it is Noche Mexicana, which celebrates the culture of the Latino community here in Oceanside and other places in the region. The library actually started the program earlier in the year with its 500 years of Latino history here in Oceanside back in March, April, along with KOCT. So What you see here are some of the members of the Noche Mexicana committee, and I have to tell you that this is a labor of love. What we're about, we're business people, we are youth, we are residents, and back to the business, there are over 1,000 Latino businesses in Oceanside. I got that from the Chamber of Commerce. We are a group of people who want to make the lives of our community and of Oceanside better through the arts, through sharing of our culture, and celebration of this community. We are about 40, Latino community in Ocean is almost 40%, and K through 12 in Oceanside Unified, it's 73%. And we want every kid to be able to follow their dream. National Hispanic Heritage Month actually starts on the 15th of September, but we pretty much kick it off the Sunday before the 15th, which is the traditional cry of liberty in Mexico and other Latin American countries. Did you read the proclamation? Oh, can I?
Right now. Do you want me to read it? Or would you like to read it? It doesn't matter.
Bigger one. So, whereas City of Oceanside commemorates the 12th anniversary of Oceanside Noche Mexicana, which includes a free family-oriented community event to be held this year on September 11th, that's this Sunday, at the Oceanside Civic Center Plaza. And whereas this year's event would not take place without the generous support of Tri-City Medical Center, Oceanside Firefighters Association, Maricosa College Continuing Education, Maximum Real Estate Services, Oceans 11, Oceanside Chamber of Commerce, Friends of Oceanside Parks, Oceanside Public Library, Vista Community Clinic, Ballet Folclórico Tapatio de Oceanside, St. Mary's Star of the Sea Church, Por Siempre Car Club, Hispanic Chamber of E-Commerce, Education Begins in the Home, the Movement Brand, La Perla Tapatia, Gear Up, and the City of Oceanside. Lots of players there. And whereas we acknowledge the countless hours of hard work, dedication, and creativity of our many volunteers that formed this year's Noche Mexicana Committee, as well as those who helped with setup and cleanup. Whereas we express our gratitude to the Consul General of Mexico, San Diego office, who for 12 years has led the Grito de Dolores, the traditional cry for Mexican independence, at our annual Oceanside Noche Mexicana events. And whereas this year Noche Mexicana will begin with a presentation of colors by the Oceanside Fire Department and a moment of silence in honor of National Day of Service and Remembrance of the first responders who lost their lives on September 11, 2001, and of our first responders and military personnel who continue to place their lives in harm's way every day in service to our community, as well as in our country and throughout the world. And whereas National Hispanic Heritage Month is celebrated September 15th through October 15th every year and honors the histories, cultures, arts, and contributions of American citizens and residents whose ancestors came from Mexico, Spain, Central and South America, and the Caribbean. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Jim Wood, he's here, Mayor of the City of Oceanside, California, do hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2016, as National Hispanic Heritage Month in the City of Oceanside. Furthermore, I encourage our community to participate in the events scheduled for this occasion, issued this 7th day of September 2016. And I'm going to give this to Luis Oseguera and hand over the mic to Luis, because Luis has actually been part of this program for most of the last 12 years. His story is a wonderful story of an entrepreneur who lived in Crown Heights at a time when there was a lot of gang activity, and he wanted to do something to give an alternative to what was happening in the streets. And what Luis did is what you see here. He started a professional ballet folklorico right in his garage that has really blossomed. I mean, he actually has programs throughout the North County, and they compete professionally in a lot of places throughout the world. So Luis.
Thank you very much. On behalf of all my partners here and all the Noche Mexicana, I'm Luis Oseguera. I'm the coordinator for the Noche Mexicana, and I wanted to invite you guys to come and to get to see all these beautiful dances, local singers, local artists. And yes, I came to the United States when I was 13 years old. Actually, the first time I came to the United States, it was here in Oceanside. I came to Senate Street. That's where I grew up, and I got to see all these gang activities, and I didn't want that for me, and I didn't want that for my brothers, and I didn't want that for my teammates. I graduated from Oceanside High School. That's when I started dancing. Actually, before I started dancing, I used to box. So I quit boxing and I went to dancing, which is, my dad wasn't that happy. But and I started dancing, and now, like Hester said, I started in my garage. The group, it got so big that now we practice at Joe Valderrama, and we had the opportunity to, for the first time last year, we went and performed to Mexico. It was our first trip, so it was very nice. We just came back from Las Vegas. It was our first performance in Vegas last month, and little by little, we've been. Right now, I'm talking about that we have more than 50 students. So we have all ages. We started working with 5 years old, and that's the age that we start working with the kids. And now we're starting the mariachi. Hopefully, pretty soon, Oceanside is going to have, for the first time, a mariachi group. Thank you very much, Hester.
Well, thank you, Luis. We also have Genevieve Wonder, who is with Faux Park. That's Friends of Oceanside Parks and Recreation, who has been our partner and is doing the nonprofit status for us. So thank you very much, Genevieve. And Movement here, the brand, Movement. So we have several people, Sal, and of course Edward and Genevieve do Education Begins in the Home. And so does anybody else want to say?
First of all, thank you very much for having us here. As you can see, very colorful. They're not costumes. That's what they wear when they dance, okay? I'd like to say from the Friends of Oceanside Parks that we are very glad that we are supporting this. The city should support it. It is a wonderful event for the community, not only the Hispanics, but everybody else to come hear the mariachis, look at the dances, listen to the grito, and just have fun. We have food vendors, there's regular resource vendors, and, come out and have fun. It's a good day for us.
Thank you. Again, it's this coming Sunday, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Over here at the Civic Center. And yes, we're going to have booths, but the most important part, of course, is the cultural part, which is the dancing, the mariachi, the music to dance to, and just to have a good time here in Oceanside. So please mark that in your calendar. And we have a picture. Yeah? Thank you. Sorry, one more, Genevieve. Thank you.
Public communication, do we have?
Yes, we have 3 speakers. First, we have Margie Castellano, then we have Elizabeth Crow, and then Deputy Mayor Lauer will introduce our last speaker.
Good evening, everybody. Buenas noches con todos. My name is Margie Castellano, and I am running for Tri-City Healthcare District Board of Directors. Thank you very much for the opportunity to let me introduce myself, and I'd just like to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm running for Tri-City for three reasons. One of them is because I have a passion to serve and empower my community. Number two, I love to learn new things and to be challenged, especially by the status quo. And number three, my 25 years of leadership and international management experience as a businesswoman and as a producer will be an asset for Tri-City. My vision is that Tri-City will lead the evolution of healthcare and best quality care in the country, and that our workers will have a voice in decision-making. I have already been endorsed by the Service Employees International Union and the San Diego County Democratic Party. The professional person best suited for this position is somebody with a business background. That's where my education comes handy. I have a Bachelor of Interdisciplinary Studies with concentrations in small business and political science, also technical degrees as a pharmacy technician and a computer programmer. Another asset that I will bring is that I am a native Spanish speaker, as you can notice by my accent. And also, I was one of the 1900 Bernie Sanders delegates that made history by doing everything we could to make the Democratic platform as progressive as it can be. I have done a little bit of research about Tri-City, and I have found out that they are facing lawsuits, loss of money, and billing and contract errors, and its overall rating is 2 out of 5, which is unacceptable. And all of this is due to mismanagement. If I am elected, I will bring innovation, efficiency, improvement, and transparency to taxpayers. On November 8th, please vote for people that have a business background, and I am one of them. My name is Margie Castellano for Tri-City Healthcare District, and thank you for your vote. And my website, margiecastellano.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Elizabeth Crowe may speak.
Thank you. My name is Elizabeth Crone. I'm here this evening to speak in regards to a parking program that is on the agenda for Marino Street and Oceanside between Vista Way and Kelly Street. I'm opposed to the parking permit program twofold because, one, I don't like to pay for parking on my property. I don't like to pay for parking in front of my house. And I have more than 20 people that come to visit me in a given year. And the permits would be $15 for each resident with a maximum of 3 permits per resident, in addition to 20 guest permits that would be at no cost, which means any permit thereafter would be at a cost. I honestly don't see that there's an issue for this. There is some difficulty with the overflow parking from the park and ride, which I think could possibly be remedied in another manner.
Ma'am?
Yes.
I'm sorry to impose on you. This item was a consent 14, item 14. We addressed the item at 14 earlier tonight.
It said the meeting was going to be at 6 p.m. The letter that I received?
Well, the item, well, anyhow, what I was going to say is it's already been covered. What I would say, you can finish speaking, but if you like, later on after you finish, I'll let the city manager or the young lady in the corner back there give it. She'll get you a card and she'll answer your questions for you, okay? But go ahead and finish.
Okay. I believe that there's a number of other means by which to remedy this particular situation, in that we could set up an additional space in the park and ride, because they have the Goodwill there. They can open that up. I've never seen the park and ride actually full, so I don't understand why anyone would actually park on the street areas. We do have a parking on Kelly Street with regards to buses taking people to the casinos, which I think could be addressed with the casino companies. I would hope that we could remedy this situation in other manners than at a cost to the residencies who've already paid for the property and their taxes, which monitor the rest of the city and schools and things of that nature. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am. Young lady? Ma'am?
Yes.
That young lady, or she'll give you a card.
Deputy Mayor Lowry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk Beck. In North Dakota right now, there's a Native American tribe, the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, and they are protecting the water in the Missouri River, which is just about to be developed to run oil through the river in the pipe, and this Missouri River provides water for millions of people in several states. Just today I got a nice piece of information about pipeline safety workshops. Apparently this is a big enough area of concern that the industries that are running all these pipelines want us to know what it looks like when a pipeline breaks. And so this is an informative brochure that came to me as a city council member, because they're going to educate us on what these pipelines mean. Currently they are building one that is going to be 1,100 miles long, and the only people who are standing up against this are the Native American tribes that are in that area. There are apparently over 180 of them who've gathered, who are working against continuing this construction. And I invited Mel Vernon, who is the captain of the San Luis Rey Band of Mission Indians, to tell us a little bit about how this kind of project could affect us here in Oceanside. So this is Mel Vernon, and he will take 3 minutes to explain this to us. Thank you for coming, Mel.
Thank you, Chuck, Mayor and Council. This issue of water is something that affects us all, and it kind of brought us back to our issues here of the San Luis Rey, keeping it clean from contamination and possibly pollution. And one of the issues that comes up, of course, is Gregory Canyon, the landfill. So that reverberates locally as we're going all the way to Cannonball, North Dakota. You can see the people that are there. It started off as tribes, as one tribe, the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, but other people come. It's not just tribes anymore. It's the local farmers and the people that will be affected if something does happen in Missouri. I think it was 18 million people will be affected if this pipeline breaks. We haven't been seeing a lot of this being broadcast on our local news commercially, but if I went to YouTube and you put in Standing Rock Sioux pipeline, and you can see all the things that are happening. Some of I say it's labeled as a protest, but really I think it's a rally. When you get people that are standing up for their freedoms of what they believe in, and you have the other side trying to maintain some kind of order, it turns into a push and shove match. And there's been dogs that have been called out there. Of course, the natives also had horses. I saw that, so it's a little bit of a push and shove here. And I think if we could look at this in both sides to keep a peaceful demonstration going. In fact, that's how it started. It started as a peaceful prayer with a lot of the Sioux people coming together and I think it's been like 149 years since that's happened. So this action is bringing people together, and I think the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is going to have a decision on September 9th. No matter what that decision is, I think the threat of oil in our water, doesn't go away. It's something that's just a potential fact. I'd like to say I've seen a lot of restraint from the authorities. The sheriffs seem to be very professional, and also on the Native American side, I can see there's peacekeepers that are pushing away people that are maybe a little bit more getting too aggressive. And anyway, I'd just like to thank you for letting me share this and bring it to our attention, and the San Luis Rio Band stands behind the Standing Rock Sioux. Thank you.
Thank you. Al, good seeing you.
Thank you for sharing that information with us.
No further public on this item.
Okay, thank you. Could you go to item 27, please?
Yes, item number 27 is introduction of an ordinance approving subdivision amendment and zone amendment, amending Articles 4 and 6 of the subdivision ordinance and Articles 41 and 43 of the zoning ordinance to grant a 12-month automatic time extension of the discretionary approvals that were approved on the November 1st, 2007, benefited from the previous automatic time extension approved by the State of California and the City of Oceanside, and unexpired as of the effective date of the ordinance. Projects benefiting from this automated extension will be limited to future time extension requests not to exceed a total period of 2 years.
As mayor, I'll open this public hearing and ask for disclosures from council members. Start with you, Jack.
Staff.
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 Staff only. You guys are pretty popular.
Mr. Clerk, correspondence petitions.
All material has been provided to the council.
Thank you very much. And Robert, thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. Rob Demahowski, Associate Planner. The request before you this evening is subdivision amendment and zone amendment to amend Articles 4 and 6 of the subdivision ordinance and Article 41 and 43 of the zoning ordinance to grant a 12-month automatic extension of discretionary approvals that were approved on or after November 1st, 2007 that benefited from the previous automatic extensions approved by the State of California and the city and are unexpired as the effective date of this ordinance. Projects that benefit from this action will only be granted an additional 2 years of discretionary extension requests. In 2007, the country went into a severe recession, and as a result, the building industry suffered an industry-wide downturn. In response to this downturn, the State of California passed 4 automatic time extensions for tentative maps. Since these extensions did not include discretionary permits that were approved at a local level, the City Council approved an automatic time extensions for projects to be commensurate with the extensions approved by the state. While the economy has continued to improve and we have seen renewed interest in projects that were approved during the recession, many of these projects have yet to break ground and are in danger of expiring. Project delays are due to a variety of factors, including stricter lending practices, change in ownership, new investors purchasing these projects, as well as economic feasibility and development strategy for investors that are purchasing these projects and determining whether or not they can move forward as they are entitled. The following list is an example of projects that would have an economic benefit to the city and are currently in danger of expiring. To ensure entitlements for projects that will benefit the local economy don't expire, staff recommends that the City Council introduce an ordinance approving subdivision amendment 1601 and zone amendment 1603, amending Articles 4 and 6 of the subdivision ordinance and Articles 41 and 43 of the zoning ordinance to grant a 12-month automatic extension as detailed in the staff report. Staff would like to note that subsequent to distribution of the staff report and ordinance, it was noted that there is an error in ordinance related to the zoning amendment in Section 2, Article 4308. It has a section that says, provided that any development plan approved concurrent with tentative maps, vesting maps, pursuant to Government Code Section 66452 and 66452 shall be provided the same extensions as provided in the maps. This language pertains to the previous extensions from the state and are not applicable to this request. Therefore, staff recommends that that portion be omitted from the ordinance. This concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
This is a public hearing item. Any members of the public who wish to speak on this specific item may come forward at this time.
I'm going to move the introduction, including the recommendation from staff regarding the request to delete certain language.
I have read this, and I remember we discussed it in the meeting a couple of weeks ago. Currently, when you initially give a project approval, they get 2 years before the permission expires.
Deputy Mayor Lowry, that is correct. Projects are valid for 2 years from the date of approval unless they're activated through the issuance of a building permit or their activity, or the applicant requests a discretionary extension not to exceed 3 years.
Okay, so what we're talking about is the 3-year section today. Is that 1 year? 1 year more on top of an existing 2? What is the exact number? We've already got 2, so that's off the table, but they can ask for more based upon seeing time run out. Okay.
If I could jump in too. So there was 4 different state bills to extend projects that had tentative maps. And so the council has previously taken action to extend the city's discretionary permits that accompanied one of those maps. So none of those extensions counted against the 2 years, if that makes sense. Our extensions were simply to match the discretionary permits so that they had the same lifespan as the tentative maps that were extended by the state.
Okay.
So the initial 2-year terms have not yet expired on some of these, but they're coming up.
Okay, so they can request an extension, or we would, if they go to planning, they can request the extension. It doesn't have to come to us. We don't have to make any kinds of decisions on this.
This is an ordinance that provides all of those class of projects an automatic extension.
Okay.
Without the alternative would you would have to hear each and every individual project, and each applicant would have to pay a application fee to process the proposed extension. In lieu of that, this ordinance amendment just provides a time extension to all of the projects that fall within the criteria that have been crafted.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. I just was looking at this again, and so do you anticipate the state doing this over again in a couple of years? We just keep going and going and going. At a certain point in time, we're going to have to say, these things are expired. I mean, some of these, if you look at some of these projects, they're 12 years old now. So at a certain point in time, we're going to have to either have them develop or have them resubmit.
Mayor and council members, we have not had any indication from the state that they're going to continue with any extensions.
Okay, all right. I just want to, we just keep doing this over and over again. And eventually, even though I'm a pro-business, pro-development type guy, eventually we're going to have to make them move on these things instead of just giving them extensions and they sit to basically say, hey, either pull the trigger or sell the property that somebody wants to pull the trigger on. So anyway, that's just my concern, that we just keep extending things out. I mean, the recession was 9 years ago. We came out of it about 7 or 8 years ago. So the idea that we just keep doing this over and over again, even though it's at the state level, at a certain point in time, we have to get back to business as normal, business as usual. So I will support it. Thank you.
Thank you. So the recession was 9 years ago, and 7 or 8 years ago we started to come out of it. Some people feel that, I mean, we've got good things happening, but some people feel it's not over yet. And other people feel that it's about time for another one. So, I think, are we prepared to do emergency type things in lieu if there was another recession? I mean, you're given many projects an opportunity to have automatic extension, but what about if there were the downturn that we dread?
Mayor and council members, we would cross that bridge when we get to it. All we're asking for tonight is to grant this one automatic time extension. What the future holds for us, we would take into account, and if there was discussion that we want to continue some of these projects forward, we would take that through the public process.
So we're not slamming the door on that opportunity?
We're not slamming the door, we're not propping it open. It's unknown.
Yes, okay, thanks.
Okay, I'll need to title these two ordinance, and just to clarify, we shouldn't have any projects that are more than 9 years old. The attachment L lists all the specific projects that are benefiting from this time extension. So this is the introduction of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Oceanside for subdivision amendment SA 16-00001, amending Articles 4 and 6 of the Oceanside subdivision ordinance to allow a 12-month automatic time extension for discretionary approvals. And we also have the introduction of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Oceanside for zone amendment ZA 16-00003, amending Articles 41 and 43 of the Oceanside zoning ordinance to allow a 12-month automatic time extension for discretionary approvals. And just to be clear, on page 2 of that ordinance, lines 18 through 20, the words "provided that any development plan approved concurrent with a tentative map, vesting tentative map, or parcel map shall, pursuant to Government Code Section 66452.21 and 66452.22, be provided the same extension provided to the tentative map, vesting tentative map, or parcel map." Those words shall be stricken from this ordinance.
Mr. Clerk, do we have a second on this?
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now, please vote. That's why I couldn't remember.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Mr. Clerk, have I covered everything? It looked like we got it all.
Covered everything. One last thing prior to the meeting being adjourned, I believe it'd be wise to have a moment of silence for Annabelle, the teenager who was slain in the East Side, for Miss County.
Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll adjourn this meeting to September 21st, 3:30 p.m. Thank you.